Yo, what up, everybody? We're trying to do this live again. Is it going good? Is it going good? Man, you know what? That sucks because I was on such a flow, and I probably should have let it go and then just let it. Hey, if you missed the live, then just go back and check it out. But you know what? We're going to do this real quick because I need to get going because I got some shopping and stuff to do for the store. But what up, everybody? What up, everybody? Let me get to the spot. I am at the spot. Hey, this is Carlton Hamilton with Plan Your Greatness, and I am your gracious host, as I always say. And let's get started today. As you can see, the topic is acceptance, a mindset. And we're going to move along through this thing very quickly. Because you know I like to get a little long-winded, tell some stories, but I'm going to cut this short today. Now, as I am editing my book, Plan Your Greatness, shout out, I got some videos on my Plan Your Greatness channel. You want to go to that channel, like it, subscribe to it, share it with others. There's over 300 and something videos on that page and so on that channel. So go ahead and get that in. And so if you miss a live, you can actually just go right to the page, to my channel, pick up the live, and then you can just watch it at your leisure. All right. So the title of this one is called Acceptance, a Mindset. Now, how did this title come about? Well, as I am editing the book, at the suggestion of my professor, shout out when this thing goes, when the second edition, because the first copy is just a draft copy, I just got it out, and it was something I just wanted to do, but now the second copy, or the first finished, edited, clean, which is going to end up going to an audio book. That's going to be coming out sometime later on this year, with probably a forward from my professor, who was so gracious in editing it and giving some feedback. And one of the things he suggested was there were areas of the book that I may have talked about, but I didn't go into like real super detail. And he said, this is an opportunity for you to do that so the readers can actually get a better feel of your life as you were going through this. Now, one of the most positive things he said the flow was very good. He said it just was grammatically off point, as far as some editing and different things like that. So I said, cool. I said I could work with that because he did give me some positive feedback. And he said, the best thing you did was you had good content. He said, I know people who have PhDs that have a hard time just putting the content together. He said, you got the content. So that's good. So that book's going to be coming out sometime later on this year. But as I am editing that book, a lot of things come to mind. And that is stories that need to be expounded on. And one of the stories in the book is a call that I made to my mom. And this call was very critical in my development while I was incarcerated. It was the moment that I really understood. That's why I say it was acceptance. It was the moment that I truly accepted in my mind that I was going to prison. Because all the way up until that point, I actually believed that somebody was going to come into the cell and go, Hamilton, hey, we've looked over this case. There's something wrong, whatever. You're free to go. And then I was just going to kind of move on without me making any changes. All of a sudden, there was going to be some glitch in the system that was going to allow me to go out. And I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, if that would have happened, I would not have made the necessary adjustments in my life. That I would have just been like, woo, man, I got another chance to go out here and just do some more nonsense and not make any sort of changes. So during this phone call, I could tell it was difficult that my mom was accepting that I was going to go to prison. And I had to basically like, Mom, snap out of it. I'm going to prison. And I didn't say it like that, but in my mind, I did. But really, and I said, Mom, I just said like this, Mom, I'm going to prison. And with her, in her nice, loving voice, my mom just said, oh, don't say that. And I had to catch myself and realize, I said, my mom is struggling with this. my mom is struggling very, very hard with the realization that her son is going to prison. And so as I backed off of that and ended up getting out of jail, going through the processing center, then eventually getting to a yard, and then my parents coming to visit me. And my dad said something very powerful. And again, shout out to my father for supporting me during that very trying time of my life. My dad shared with me, he said that you realize that your mother has basically put her life on hold because of what you're going through. And I was frozen for a second. And it made me kind of go through all kind of emotions. But what it did was it set two things in motion. One, I went back to my cell and I cried because I said, how dare I have my life decisions impact somebody to that degree? And the second thing is I said, I'm going to get through this. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to make sure I don't run into any funny business up here in prison. And I'm going to get out because right now my mom doesn't even want to have a conversation about me. So I said, my job is that I want to make sure that that I do the things and I put back in place where my mom can have a conversation to anybody about me. Because my mom used to go down the list of all her kids, all 9 of them. Oh, Michael's doing this, Greg's doing this, Daryl's doing this, Anthony's doing this, Dale's doing this, Cheryl's doing this. And then it would come to me and she'd skip right over me. And then she like, Kim's doing this, Andre's doing this. So I said, my goal is that I want her to go down that list, whether she goes from top to bottom, from bottom to top, and be able to get to the point and say, well, my son Carlton, he's doing this, and this. So that inspired me to learn as much as I could in prison. And then when I got out, I jumped right into school. I went back and got my bachelor's degree from Arizona State University. And then that just continued on this whole path that I was on now, as far as I have a tax office, full-blown tax office is doing well. I'm actually moving to the point where I'm going to probably have somebody take more of that control of that because I'm focusing on the store and then eventually get the store to where it's maybe multiple stores. So that is where now my mom has, ooh, child, you know, my son, he out there in Arizona, he got himself a little store. He got his little tax office. My mom's from Arkansas. So country folks, the way they talk, they call everything little this, little that. Oh, he got himself this little tax business. He doing well. Oh, he got himself this little smoke shop. You know, he don't smoke. We don't smoke anything. But he got that little smoke shop. So that is where now I'm proud that I got my mom able to have a positive conversation about me. Now let's bring this back full circle. Acceptance and a mindset. Now that day, my mom was still in denial. But me, I had fully accepted the fact that I was going to prison. And because I got into that mindset of accepting where I was going to go, it became a completely different mindset and a shift. I said, I'm going to prison. Okay, so now what are you going to do? Now what are you going to be? What are you going to become? What are you going to look like when you get out of this cell, this prison system? What's going to happen to you? Because I even said to myself, you are not going to leave this place the way that you came in. Barely graduating from high school, no college degree, no recognizable user-friendly skills for the world. And I said, what are you going to do? And so I worked very hard to get to myself to the point now where I'm a pretty smart dude. I can have conversations on just about anything. As you can see, part of my library here, all these books on here I've read. If I have not read it completely, there's a section in that book that I actually used either for my bachelor's or master's program, or I use it just for self-development. Okay. So these books are not just here just for decorations. These books are here because I have used them or I've read them and I've applied them. And I've even said this to people. I very rarely buy new books. I just go back and read what I've read already and continue to apply those principles. Because I challenge anybody, I'm reading. Okay, are you applying any of that stuff that you've read? Because I don't care if you've read 100 books or you actually read a book a week. Because I still read on a weekly, right now I'm in the course of reading this very long 5-volume book. So I read on a regular basis, but I only read if I'm really wanting to know more about somebody, or if I'm going to read something that's going to be applicable to my businesses or me as far as personal development. I don't just read just for the sake of saying that I've read a book. Like, if I want to just do something like that, then I just go to the movies and watch a movie like Black Widow or something like that. But again, acceptance is a mindset. I'm gonna go through this again. When you are going through those 5 stages of depression, the first one is denial, the second one is anger, the third one is bargaining, the fourth one is depression, and the last one is acceptance. Most people never get through depression. Or if they do, it takes them so long that by the time when they get to acceptance, they're out of options. And so thankfully for me, I was able to get through all of them, get to the point of acceptance, because you'll know when you're at acceptance, because then you'll start asking yourself questions. Okay, all right, I done made this mistake. What am I going to do from this point forward? How am I going to go forward? Get better, be better, do better. And so that was my mindset. And so it was like, I need to go to school, because I don't know if this felony is just going to be something that's going to just get in the way of everything. So I set out to find out the answer to this question. And that is, does a felony conviction does a college degree trump a felony conviction? And the only way I was going to figure that out was I needed to get a college degree, a legitimate college degree. So I got one from Arizona State University, and I answered that question, that in some instances, yes, it does. In other instances, it does not. But at least I'm able to answer the question, because while I was incarcerated, everybody was telling me that there is nothing left for you to do. Society's got nothing for you. And in most cases, it does if you just sit on that felony conviction. And then if you enter into basically victim mode, I got the felony, I can't do nothing, then nobody's going to give you anything. Life's not going to give you anything. But I'll finish up with this, as I always do, is that the moment that I actually went into that acceptance phase, it changed the world for me. And if you are one of those individuals and you actually can take stock in where you are, and a lot of people, I'm realizing that there's more people that are actually going through this stage of depression, or what is it? Is that what the stage of whatever, the grief? I said depression, grief. That you're going through those 5 stages of grief. And many of us have had things happen to us, and we are in the middle of it. Some of us are still at the beginning. Some of us are still in denial. Some of us are still trying to get our way through there because we're angry of a decision we made. Some of us are trying to bargain our way through it. Some of us are deeply depressed because of that decision. And then a small percentage of us have gone through to the acceptance. And if you can get yourself through that, but you have to recognize where you are in that process. And if you can get through and get to the point of acceptance, you are in the early stages of planning your greatness. All right. Again, this is Plan Your Greatness. I try to do this every day around 6:30 to 7 in the morning. Like this one, but go to my channel on YouTube, like it, subscribe to it, share it. There's a bunch of videos. You'll probably find something that will appeal to maybe a point in your life. You're going through something. And hopefully it'll be helpful. But again, I always end with this: plan your greatness. And you know why I say that? Is because nobody else will. I will see you guys all next time.